One thing that I talked about the other day was the fact that extreme feminism puts women in danger because it sacrifices their safety in order to prove a point that can't be proven. So if you want to go back and find that video and watch it, you can. But another thing that I want to point out is a lot of these people who are attacking people like myself and others who point out that, hey, Cassie has to be held accountable for some of her choices. She chose to do some of those things and she was not under duress, okay? We get attacked, okay? But a lot of those people, they don't really care about Cassie's well-being. They just want to prove a point. They just want to be right. If they really cared about Cassie's well-being, they would be speaking on something that she needs to prepare for. But they're not. But I actually do care about humanity. So I'm going to give her some game that y'all need to be giving her if y'all gave a fuck about her. Cassie needs to prepare for the possibility of Alex leaving her, okay? Y'all can sit around and y'all can listen to these women online cackling, talking about, yeah, Alex a strong man. He a good man. He's secure in his manhood. And that's why he gonna stay with her. Okay. Even with all of that being said, there is only so much ridicule a man can take. Okay?
That's a fact. I don't even know where the argument is. I think that women want men to be Captain Save them because it actually reflects their own circumstance. Their own bad decisions on a regular basis of choosing the wrong man, having children out of wedlock, getting involved with people that they shouldn't have been involved in, and then being saved, knowing that that's not something that they would ever in life tell their sons to do. You would never tell your son to go and put himself in a situation where he's being cheated on after getting into a situation where he knew that she was out here being crazy and promiscuous. And I talked to people that was in the courtroom and they said that he was cringing, but then he was trying to stare at Diddy like it was a big problem. The reality is that we aren't wired like that, and I think that he could quite possibly be the biggest simp or homosexual, meaning that he's coming up off of her, or he's just a really, really big simp. And we are not wired that way. We're not wired to take that level of criticism and ridicule and be embarrassed, and everywhere you go, everybody know that you a cuck. We not built like that. Even people that subjects themselves to that lifestyle sexually, right? They are not built for the public criticism, even if they do certain things in private. And he will always be embarrassed. He will always be known as a guy that took second servings. He will always be known as a guy that's finishing another man's save game. And that's just it. But the women keep trying to make it seem like he a strong man, but no woman would ever want to be involved with a man like that unless they was taking advantage of him. That's just the facts.
And their egos, they're different from us, okay? Their pride means a lot more to them than it does women oftentimes. You get what I'm saying? So this man's pride is hurt. I don't care what y'all say. That man's pride is very hurt after all of that stuff came out on the stand. You know, that's not something that they can just live down and put behind them, okay? Because somebody's going to always remind him. And even if they're not constantly reminding him, it's going to be in the back of his mind, okay? Whenever he goes to do some sort of business deal, whenever he goes to play a golf game, whatever they do in that world, he is going to have in the back of his mind wondering if those dudes are laughing at him or thinking that those dudes are laughing at him.
They still living off of Diddy. That's the whole reason, in my opinion, why they brought this civil suit in the first place.
And God forbid he have words with somebody, a disagreement. What do you think the first thing they gonna say to him is? You probably can't even satisfy your wife, all those BBCs she had up in her. Come on now, we keeping it $1.50. And no, I don't think it's fair that a woman's past is held against her.
Why isn't it? Everybody's past is held against them. That's the way that we protect society. The reason why we have an offenders list where you got to find out exactly where they live is because regardless of whether or not you did your time, your past is held against you. The reason why we want to see your resume is because it helps or it hurts you. Your past, that is. It's fair. It's completely fair. The things that you do in this lifetime, people have to protect themselves from you. And everybody don't just get a clean slate every single time that you decide that you want to be a different person. And then you want to revert back to that person. I mean, we even seen that in what she admitted on trial, and that she wanted a closure meeting and then she wound up getting buzzed. Come on, man. Stop.
But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why we need to tell these young ladies the truth. Stop telling them that they can get out here and wild out without consequences. If you love them, tell them what it's really going to do to them. But anyway, that is not something that a man wants to deal with, okay? So at some point, he is going to reach a breaking point, okay?
I could never.
Now, it may be a while because he's probably going to try to stick it out while she, you know, has this baby, and he may try to make it work. You know, he may have, you know, a woman in his family saying, hey, you know, you need to make it work for the baby. You got to put the past behind you. But then he going to have his uncles or some dudes, and they're like, you know, be careful. You know, he's just going to have a whole lot of, you know, whatever. And I do believe that people should make their own choices. They shouldn't just do what their family and friends tell them to do. But again, that is on an extreme scale. Like, this man has sat in front of the world and heard about vile, disgusting acts that his wife willingly participated in with hundreds
of... Willingly. Keyword willingly. Second keyword, his wife. Keyword willingly. Second keyword, his wife. Crazy.
Men. That's a lot for anybody to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And women can say, well, I wouldn't care if I heard that about my husband. And if women and men are different. Okay? A man's body and a woman's body, if you don't get it, it's no point in explaining it to you because you're not in reality. But this is where I see this going. Okay? I could be wrong. But I see him either trying to stick it out, but eventually saying, hey, this is just not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Or he may know now, hey, this ain't going to work. And he might do like Party and just be quiet and quietly go on about his business. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what Party did. Party quietly went on about his business, but then Meg started taking shots at him. So that's when he released that song telling what really happened with the breakup. And it was what I knew was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? He, you know, all that stuff came out and he was embarrassed, and then she kept on, you know, whatever. So anyway, and then y'all painted him out to be a villain for making a song, even though she took shots at him first. But whatever. Like I said, y'all, lack of accountability, feminists, females, y'all not in reality. But anyway, so
she's right. She's 100% right.
He is either going to try to stick it out, or if he's a snake, and we all know
he is.
She gravitates towards snakes, hence her relationship with Diddy. But if he is a snake, I'm gonna tell you what he might do. And she better be careful, and she better think.
Use it against her.
Okay? If he was a
snake,
should take
half.
Or just a low-down person, he could easily, because you know she's sitting on that $20 million. Minus whatever she done spent in the meantime, but she's sitting on a bag, right? If he's an evil person, he'll get her back on that dope. And so what she needs to do is be mindful. If he say, hey, baby, you know, I know you just had the baby. Let's go release some steam, or what they call it, let off some steam and go party and stuff. And he reintroduce her to some dope and get her back hooked. Then he gonna take her to that courtroom and say, Your Honor, I love my wife, but she has a drug history. You know, she has a well-documented drug history, and she's back on drugs, and I've tried to help her. But Your Honor, I just need the children in the meantime until she gets herself together. And that judge gonna grant him them children. Then he's gonna pull a Kevin Federline. Shout out to the OG Dusty, Kevin Federline. Then he can be like, well, I need money to support the kids. Then you're going to hit her up for a fat child support check. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, women are diabolical. Their imaginations run rampant. Of course, I always like to give credit to the content creator, so that link will be down in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I can't imagine ever being with a woman like this after you hear those type of details. I know we say don't ask, don't tell, like in relationships like they was in the military. But nah, not this one. This one is too diabolical. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments, family.